It's time to shift gears and set our sights on icing midwinter panfish before they reach the abyss. Here's Jon with overlooked strategies you can use to stack up midwinter slabs other anglers miss.
Right on it, right there. Hit it, there he is. Just grabbed it, look at that. Got him. Let's see what we got here. We're fishing an area where you'll get a mix of fish. We're really targeting crops, so yeah, look at that. Ooh, that's what we're targeting right there. Popped off right when I got him up. What an awesome fish. Look at that, exactly how we wanted to start the day. But we're fishing an area here today where we might see a little bit of a combo of fish. Might see some perch, might see some crappies. Here's why. These fish are all starting to move to areas like I'm fishing now. Midwinter, they're starting to move a little bit deeper. They're not relating to the weeds anymore. Now they're sliding out off of that area where those weeds were, because those weeds have finally died and now they're on the move and they're headed out into that deeper stuff. And that's an awesome fish. I had another one on the screen right now. I'm gonna drop right back down. But that right there is a great way to start. I'm gonna have to beef up my bait just a little bit. He nipped a few of those waxies off there, but gotta find where I got my bait now. What a great way to start the day though. That's awesome. We'll take that any day of the week, especially when you're taking a guest to start. You know, when you're taking a guest to start and you're kind of hoping that you park on the right spot, that right there is a great way to get it going. Is right on it. That fish is right on it. Come on. There he is, got him. Just a question of coming up. Just keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. That feels like a good fish too. Let's get that transducer out of the way. Feels like a good fish. I think it's a crop. It's not fighting like a perch. We might have just landed on crappies, which is what I was hoping for today. You know, a lot of times they're mixed up. Oh yeah, great crop. Look at this one. Wow. Look at that one. That is a giant. That's a big fish right there. Holy moly. Boy, that guy just attacked it too. Look at that. What an awesome fish. That is really, really cool. Here's when I talk so much about the potential for perch being out here along with these crappies. Man, that's a giant fish. That is a great fish anywhere you go. I'll bet you that's pushing 13 inches. What a beautiful fish. But here's the thing. Here's what we got going on. These fish, as they bail and they head out to this deeper stuff when those weeds die, what actually begins to happen is they kind of scatter. They don't necessarily come out here in a group. They'll bail out and they're all kind of looking. Now later in the winter, they're going to get to the deepest spots on the lake and that's when they're going to get packed back up. But right now I'm just sitting on a shelf and this is kind of a feeding shelf. It's a flat, okay? There's deeper water out here, shallower water in there. There's weeds in there that are dying off now. These fish have just staged on this flat and what they're doing is they're just roaming around. So I'm not actually seeing huge numbers of fish on my graph. These are singles, and the reason they're singles is because they're roaming. Well, what happens is a lot of different fish get out here and do the same pattern at this time of the year. When those weeds die, those perch will come out. A lot of times the bluegills will come out with them. All of a sudden, you've got a whole smorgasbord of fish roaming these flats until they start separating again. And they're going to separate again as the oxygen starts depleting because some fish need more oxygen than others. So what you're going to find out is right now, when you're sitting on these flats, and I mean, I'm sitting in 24, 25 feet of water, okay? When you're sitting on these flats, what happens is there's all kinds of fish here, but they're roaming. So you got to grab their attention and you kind of got to wait it out a little bit. Like I said, I might have to be a little bit more mobile today. That's why I'm fishing outside. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of times, I mean, I'm sitting on the first spot. We've got 2 fish. That's a great, great start. And hopefully what that'll do is just lead to this happening all day long. But when I go to move, I'm going to stay on this flat. They're going to be small little moves. They're not going to be big moves because these fish, they're just meandering. Let's get it back in the water. See if we can get another one. That is awesome. I'll take that start any day. This fish just railed up on this perch talker. Come on. Gotta hit it. There he is right there. Got him. There was no way that this fish was not going to hit that. I mean, he just came railing up. You know, it's funny when that happens, you can just tell sometimes when you're going to get bit. It's one of the coolest things about ice fishing, I think. Look at that. Another great crop. Come here, buddy. Get my hand around there without getting hooked. Look at that. Another great eater-sized fish. That is awesome right there. I want to show you something though. When you look at how I'm catching these fish today, see that perch stalker? You can see it's got that chain hanging there. And what I'm doing is I'm making noise. But you know, crappies, perch, a lot of panfish in general, they come to noise because they're curious, but they're a bit intimidated by it. That's another great fish. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll scatter on you as soon as they get close, okay? So one of the neatest things about the bait I'm using is this bait is deliberately designed with that dropper chain to get that bait down away from the noise. So what's happening is you got these brass beads and discs, okay? When I jiggle that down there, it's making noise. You can hear that thing rattling down there. Those fish can pick it up. They pick it up on their lateral line. There's vibration, there's noise, and they come in to investigate. But then what I usually do is when those fish get there and I see them on the sonar, I really slow down and I maybe just bounce it so I'm not even really engaging the rattle noise. What I'm doing is just making it so that bait hanging down there away from the noise is what they're focused in on. It's an awesome bait, man. I don't care if you're perch fishing, crappie fishing, whatever it is. This perch stalker, this thing is just dynamite. It's just a fish catcher. Let's get back down there. Man, I'll tell you, this is a pretty doggone good morning for some guesswork and the plan that I was going to have to do a lot of moving. But it just goes to show you, too, that when you're fishing an area like this, when you're fishing on a flat where fish are roaming, using a bait that makes a little bit more noise can make a big, huge difference. I mean, I got a little crappie over here on the jig rod, but the bigger fish are all attacking this more aggressive noise-making bait. And a lot of times that's just a simple case of you're using something that grabs their attention when they're roaming. And if you can grab their attention when they're roaming, usually those bigger fish, they'll come in and they'll hit. They don't necessarily usually come in, hang around, and just look. I mean, they're there to do business, or else they're not going to be there. So using a bait like this in an area like we're fishing can be really, really key to getting a couple extra bites every day. And so far this morning, I mean, heck, I think it's making a big difference because I'm seeing a huge difference in what I'm catching over here on the perch stalker versus what's happening right next to it with that smaller jig. And there's days that jig will be just fine, especially when they're packed up. But right now, it seems that they're coming in really tuned in on this noise and the vibration. There he is, got him. Look at that. That fish just came up on a rail as I dropped it. That's awesome. That's a good crop too. Isn't that great how that'll work sometimes? I mean, you get a fish, you drop right back down, and here we go again. And it is just because there's a couple of them around, you got them riled up. Look at this dynamite crappie. Look at that one. What an awesome fish that one is. Holy smokes. Look at that. That's a great fish. Man, this is fun. This is just fun fishing. I love crappie fishing, and you know, when you get a day like today where you can be outside, it's all the better. What a great fish. Stacking them up pretty good now. Boy, that fish is right on it. There he is right there. Man, that fish came up and he got right on it. And it was kind of one of those deals where he didn't come up super hot. He just kind of sauntered up to me. And sometimes makes you wonder what you're looking at. You know, is that a small fish? Is that a big fish? What are you dealing with? Because sometimes them big fish will just saunter on you like that. Oh yeah, good crop. Look at this one. Another great crappie. Look at that. Man, I'll tell you, what a fun day of fishing. That's going to be a great way to wrap it up. But when these fish hit the point they've hit right here, when they get onto these flats before they get out into those deep holes, Now's the time to put something down there that's aggressive. Bang it around, make some noise, and follow these fish out here. You know, don't overlook stuff like this, because here's what happens so often when those fish finally leave those weeds. Everybody hopscotches and heads right out to those deep holes. But if you can find these mid-range flats, this 24, 25, 26 feet of water, somewhere in that neighborhood, man, I'll tell you what, they can be gold mines before those fish head out there.